Hello and welcome to Bosch Professional Live UK. It's nearly Christmas and I'm Chris Murray.
And I'm Danny Parks.
So Danny, what are we going to be looking at today?
Right, first off we're going to look into our entire range of heated workwear, and secondly we're going to look at our entire range of work lights.
So don't forget, it is a live stream, but Danny and I might not be at the desk for the entirety of the stream. But don't worry, you can still pop your questions in the chat and the team behind the scenes will get on that and answer them best they can. Let's see if we can keep the questions focused on our professional heated workwear range as well as our professional lighting system. But we are very happy to answer questions on any of our Bosch Professional power tools. So where are we going now?
Right, so earlier on last week, as we all know, it was pretty darn cold out.
It was.
We thought this was a perfect opportunity for us to film a little bit about our heated workwear. So let's see how we got on.
Right, so here we are outside. As you can see, it's pretty chilly. It's about 0 degrees.
Yep.
Everything that's not covered in the jacket can feel it, so it's pretty chilly. And what we're going to talk to you about is obviously our heated workwear range. I'm currently wearing a Generation 2 heated jacket, so that's the GHJ 12+18 XA, and Danny's wearing the original Generation 1.
Yes, this is the GHJ 10.8, I believe it was, back when 10.8 was, before it was referred to as 12 volt.
Exactly. So I thought it would be relevant for us to compare these products and show you where the similarities are and where we have some differences. Obviously, there are a lot of similarities in how we generate the heat. The main thing that happens is we've got 3 heated panels. We both have 3 heated panels in both our jackets. I've got 2 on the front here and 1 at the back, and Danny also has 2 on the front and 1 on the back as well. We have made some significant changes in some of the designs, and one of the things we did differently with the new jacket is the placement of these heat panels. So in your one, actually the back panel is further up on the back, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, further up on the back. Kind of middle between your shoulder blades there, but yeah, quite comfortable.
Yeah, it did the job. But one thing we discovered through some of the research and some of the case studies is that because the heated panel's quite high up, what it could generate is a displacement of air. We can create something called like a chimney effect, where because the heat is up on the top here, it would pull cold air around your lower area and up through the bottom of the jacket.
Yeah, I can see that would give you a cold lower back, not particularly comfortable there.
So with the Generation 2, we decided that we were going to modify that by actually putting the middle heated panel further down. Right, and that obviously what that means is now that it's actually a much more comfortable placement of heat. I actually prefer having the heat towards my lower back anyway. I've got a bit of a bad back anyway, but generally speaking, it does feel much more comfortable. And I've got it on the lowest setting currently, and I'm pretty warm, even though, as I said, it's 0 degrees out here.
I've got to admit, I've had it when I've jumped into a van before, and obviously you sit back in the chair. Most of your body weight is on your back of your upper shoulder blades anyway. So yeah, it can get quite toasty there. It would be nice to have it a bit lower, so I'm glad they did that. When
it comes to operation, they both share the little easy activation bar, and I thought that was nice and simple.
Yep.
And there are obviously 3 different modes. To switch it on and off, it's a long press, and I'll switch it on again. We'll probably show you that on a close-up. Automatically defaults to the hot setting, and that's the same for Danny's and mine. And then you can cycle through it until you get to the 3rd setting. I've just left that on the lower setting because I'm actually quite warm already.
I bet you are now. Yeah.
Yeah. How it works, all the jackets come with a GAA. Okay, this is the GAA 12V-21. Danny's just going to get his out of his jacket as well. And it runs on the our professional 12 volt batteries. It'll also work on the older branded 10.8 batteries. They're essentially the same. So Danny's got the old one there.
This is the older version here. You can see there's a colour difference between the two as well, but the black ones were the older version.
And as you can see, it simply just plugs into the jacket via this cable here. You'll also notice, and we'll probably punch into a close-up, that it also has a small USB. This is a 2.1 ampere charge port. So if you wanted to, you could charge a smart device, your phone, off this device as well.
The only thing to note off of that is when you do plug something in and you're expecting it to charge instantly, there's just a little button on there to switch the USB on.
Correct. So we haven't changed this. This has stayed the same since we invented it. It's got a little belt clip here as well if you want to take the weight off the jacket and put it on your belt. Yep. Sometimes beneficial for some of the heavier batteries, because this will run any of our 12 volt batteries all the way up to the 6 amp hours if you want to. And later on in this presentation, you'll see we've also got a GAA 18 volt, which is also compatible with the jacket if you want to run an 18 volt system. So I'll pop that back in for the time being and talk about some of the other features we've got on this particular jacket. I'll switch it back on as well, keep myself warm.
Yep. So.
Right, so we made some differences to the material. I think that was a polyester or a polyester build. So what we've added is we've added a bit of spandex for a bit more stretch. So the actual jacket is far more forgiving and actually means you can wear it a little tighter if you want, so it hugs better, but it isn't restrictive when you're doing your work.
Yeah, that's something that's missing on this one a little bit. This one comes across as having a little bit of a rubberized feel to it, which is good for waterproofing, but not so great for stretching.
Exactly. The material's lighter as well, actually. I mean, not saying that the jacket was heavy, it was a sturdy feeling jacket, but the new generation of heated workwear does have a much lighter feel to it, but it doesn't feel like you've compromised in the material. It's still very warm and very, very flexible, very, very comfortable. Okay, so what else did we change? It's hard to show you, but believe me, the fleece line pockets are an excellent upgrade.
Yeah, I don't have that on this one.
No, they're actually large pockets as well. They're slightly larger compared to the previous heated jacket that we had. In addition, we still retain the same...
Got a chest pocket just
chest pocket here.
It's easy. It's much easier to access on your one as well. I've got a flap that covers mine up.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, instead what I've got, again, fleece lined, but it looks like, but I've got a, you see, I've got a weather, I wouldn't say sealed, obviously, but obviously it's got a rubberized zip here to prevent too much moisture getting in there. So they've done some weatherproofing to the jacket itself. Any other differences? Oh yeah, it's got a little pocket here if you want to keep your little pens and pencils, saving you having to dig around inside your pockets to find stuff. When it comes to some of the stylings, we've still retained the reflective marks. They've changed colour on these ones. This one's, instead we've got a Bosch branded blue. On the old ones, I think there's this silver here.
Got the silver across there.
That's right. And actually we made the jacket a little longer as well, which is beneficial because it means it's not so much a short jacket.
Yeah.
So you've got it over your waist and over your belt line, so that prevents any of the air getting sucked in as well. Keeps the drafts out.
I've had a few occasions with this. I've had this about 6 or 7 years now. When you need to reach up to get something on a cold shelf, you don't want your belly sticking out.
Yeah, so it's slightly oversized, which I quite like. That makes the jacket more comfortable. When it comes to the inside of the jacket, again, it's got this soft fleece line material, and it still has very large oversized pockets, for example. I mean, I could probably get an iPad in there quite easily. I just put my little notepad in there. Right, so when it comes to some of the functionality, it comes with the 3 heat settings, the low, medium, high, and obviously that determines how much heat is generated. I've only got it on the lowest end, I'm pretty comfortable. So blue's the coldest setting, that's the lowest draw, so that'll last, you produce the least heat, but you also get the most runtime. I'm quite happy and quite comfortable at 0 degrees just running the lowest settings.
With that fleece lining, it's going to be far more efficient anyway.
Yeah, so you're getting over 200 minutes per amp hour on the lowest setting. When it comes to the medium setting, which is in the green color here, you're getting around 114 minutes per amp hour. And then on the highest setting, which is particularly warm, especially good in really cold conditions, then you're getting about 69 minutes per amp hour. So you're getting plenty of time, even just running on, I wouldn't say it's small, but like a 2 amp hour or 3 amp hour 12 volt battery, but you can upgrade all up to a 4 or 12 amp hour easily.
That's it. And when it gets low, I think you get a flash warning on the top there, which gives you plenty of time to pop another battery in, and it's instantly straight back to heating again.
Exactly. So that in a nutshell is the jacket, but we've got other versions of the heated workwear. Like these come in size small all the way up to 3XL, but we have more than just it. We have more different variations, not just the jacket I'm wearing here. So this is the GHJ 12 plus 18 XA. What else have we got, Dan?
Right, you're going to make me take my jacket off now, aren't you?
Yeah, you have to transfer that mic as well.
Certainly am.
While Danny's talking about that, I'll hold the GAA and I'll get an example, or maybe we'll cut to a close-up of the GAA 18V, which is very similar in shape, but you just plug on an 18 volt battery and you can just transfer, you can use that to heat the jacket, or you can use that to charge your phones and stuff. So what Danny's now wearing is the
Give me that back again, because he's getting to get cold.
So what Danny's currently wearing is the GHV. So this is the Gilet vest, however you like to describe it. It works on the same principle. It's still running the 3 heated elements, 2 in the chest, 1 in the back. Honestly, the only real significant difference is we've chopped the arms off, right? Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, you got exactly the same pocketing system as you have on the jacket. Really comfortable, really warm, higher heating pad in the back there. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps your core warm, which is obviously the most important part, but it gives you the complete freedom of your arms.
Exactly, yeah.
One thing that we've done, and I'm not sure if many of our other competitors have done it, but we've also collared the arms here. So maybe we'll show you that in a close-up as well, that helps elasticate it around the shoulders areas to keep the air going in and out to a minimum.
Again, the last thing you want to do is when moving your arms around is for air to be sucked down your back and undo all the good work that the jacket's doing.
That's right. Okay, so we've got a third model, which is the GHH, right? And this is our professional heated hoodie. And Rob, who's usually behind the camera, is going to model this for us. So here you can see that it's simple. It's a polyester and spandex. It's got a stretchy hoodie material. It's a bit oversized for Rob, poor old Rob here.
Oh yeah.
But again, we do the same sizes from small all the way to 3XL. As you can see, it's got the same heated elements like the jackets. Obviously, the addition, it's got a full hood there. With the usual drawstring, all the things you'd normally expect to have on any kind of hoodie. It's not as weatherproof as these materials, but this is the kind of thing that you would wear on an intermediate day, not a rainy day necessarily, but maybe even like a snowy day when it's not really moisture you're worried about, it's just trying to take that chill off you. Okay, I've probably mentioned it multiple times, but I thought I'd actually show you because I've got the GAA 18V 224 or the 2.4. Works exactly like the GAA 12 volt, but obviously now you can run an 18 volt battery. It's got 2 times 2.4 ampere USB charging ports, so you can charge multiple devices off an 18 volt battery, as well as just using this port here to plug into your heated jacket to power the unit. Comes with a nice sturdy belt strap here, and obviously a very simple on and off button.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd highly recommend the belt strap when it comes to even the largest batteries.
Yeah.
Obviously you're not going to want them too close to your pockets. The cable's long enough for you to hang it on your belt, comfortably out the way of the jacket. So
yeah. So
much more comfortable.
Here's our complete range of 12 volt, 12 or 18 volt heated workwear. I'm wearing the GHJ, the GHH, and the GHV. Okay, back to the studio. So as you could see, it was pretty cold that week.
Yes, I mean, you can see I was drawing a short straw there, I think, with the short sleeves with a gilet.
That's right. Pro tip, if you are going to wear a gilet, always recommend to at least wear a long sleeve shirt underneath. The polo shirt probably doesn't cut it.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't. I can tell you that from now. From the elbows down, I was pretty cold.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I wasn't joking when I said I was actually really hot in the normal jacket, even though it was only on the lowest setting. So genuinely, it is cold out there, and if you've been thinking about a workwear range, especially the heated jacket, it's thoroughly worth giving a test because you'd be surprised how effective they can be. Danny, right? So we've talked about the workwear. Now onto lights, right?
Now onto lights, yeah. So where better place to check the lighting system out is a dark corner of the site here at Denham.
Right, so we've quickly legged it from the studio and we're here in the warehouse space just adjacent here in Denham. We figured, hey, if we're going to be talking about lights, how about we film the first portion of this presentation just using a single one of our GLI lights that we'll show you later on towards the end of this presentation. It's actually the last machine we'll be looking at.
Yeah.
So Danny, GLIs, right?
Yep, great. It's our professional lighting system, and hence the LI in the GLI range. The full range covers from 12 volt all the way up to 18 volt and Procore that we're using currently in the larger GLI over there. Okay,
so let's get going. Let's have a look at the first ones first. Let's have a look at the 12 volt machines first. The first one we've got here is the GLI 12V-300. I don't know why I'm showing you that, Dan.
I've seen it a few times before.
The GLI 12V-300. Now this is a relatively straightforward, it's a 300 lumen 12 volt light.
Yep, this is really handy. I use these at home myself with a hanging hook on it. Fantastic for just hanging in odd places.
There you go, there's the hanging hook that Danny's talking about there. Very straightforward. It's got an array of LEDs that you can probably just pick out on the camera, and then it's got a simple activation button on the top.
Yeah, it's one button. Working out there in the cold with gloves on, nice and easy.
Yeah. Okay. 12 volt operation. Very straightforward.
Very straightforward.
Okay. It's, as I said, it's a 300 lumens. It's a measurement of brightness. 300 is pretty good actually. And when it comes to the runtime, it's a 100 minutes per amp. So very long runtime on a little 12-volt battery system.
That's quite a considerable runtime. Well, we know LEDs are pretty energy efficient anyway, don't we?
Now the next one up is actually coming up to one of the ones I really like. It's a good step up from the 300. This is the GLI 12V-330. So it's a 330 lumen light. It's definitely a different construction. It's a lot more metal on here. And it also has a very robust hanging hook.
Yeah, the hook on this I think is maybe a little bit tougher, so maybe for mechanics, that sort of thing, for hanging under a vehicle. And the big advantage of this is it's got the magnet on it as well.
Yeah.
A really strong magnet there for securing the device onto ferrous metals.
Yeah, it's so strong, it's even got a health warning. Not to put it near anyone who's got a pacemaker, that's how strong the magnet is.
Right.
It's got a little hook. So if you hook it, you can put a screw into a bit of material and hang that on there if you haven't got anything magnetic to magnetize it to. It's even got some little rubber standoffs here, so if you're putting it on and you don't want to mark the material, so that's a nice little thought. And then finally, it's got a little 1/4-inch thread there, so you can put it to a tripod, any typical photographic tripod, or even the tripods that we use for our rotation lasers, not rotation lasers, sorry, our crossline lasers and such. You've got a little tripod right there. It's got a very simple single activation button at the bottom there.
And that one's 330 lumens, isn't it?
That's right, so it's brighter. Same operation as before.
Simple.
12 volt, you can go, if you wanted to, it's obviously best suited to run on the, up to the 3 amp hour, but if you wanted to, you could get even more runtime by putting one of the bigger batteries on.
The advantage of that battery as well is obviously with the flat base on it, it gives you another position to stand in.
Exactly. Okay, so this machine, this tool gives you the same amount of runtime. It's about 100 minutes per amp hour. So plenty of runtime on the 12-volt system. Now, these two machines are excellent, but if you want a bit more power, a bit more lumens, or a bit more runtime, or even if you just don't even have the 12-volt batteries, you've got a lot of 18-volt batteries, then we can have a look at some of the 18-volt lights you've got. The first one we've got, it's very similar to the 12-volt 12V-300. We have the 18V-300, and it's got an interesting design. You can see it mostly looks like just a normal power tool handle.
Yeah, you've got a nice pistol grip on there as well. You've got the hanging hook, the same as you have on the design for the other 300, the 12V-300. But you've also got the 18-volt battery fitted on the bottom there, so a nice stable working base for you to sit the light down and point it in as many angles as you need to. Really quite a handy light for all sorts of difficult places.
Yeah, it does what you need. I mean, the Pro Core that we put on there is probably a bit of overkill because it's 18 volts, it's utilizing that power more efficiently.
Yep.
Or it's using that, it doesn't need that top end amount of amps to run these LEDs, so you actually get a lot more runtime. So you're getting 300 minutes per amp hour by just changing from the 12 volt up to the 18 volt system.
That's a full day's worth of work on one battery. That's
plenty.
That's plenty, yeah.
Right, okay, let's keep moving because we don't want to dilly-dally. Let's have a look at some of the more traditional lights that we've got. Let's start with, probably it's going to be this one.
I think it is, yes.
So this is the GLI 18V-1200?
1200, yes.
1200.
So 1200 lumens. Again, takes the 18 volt battery range. Perfect for tripod mounting, this one.
Yeah, this one's running on a 1/4-inch tripod mount. You'll see some of the later machines actually move up to the 5/8, they're much more robust, but perfectly adequate for this model. So what you've got is you've got a simple activation button on the front, and you can see that you can cycle through a number of different brightness settings just using the single activation.
This is the first one in the range where you can actually cycle through different brightness settings as well.
There's your 1/4-inch mount on the bottom there. I've already got a removable plate. The battery is situated in the back here. Okay. I popped in just a small compact battery in this, but this will go all the way up to our 6 amp hour battery, no problems at all. If you want, you can run a 4 amp hour Pro Core as well. Okay, so it's got a nice robust housing. When it comes to IP rating, and the lights are on, when it comes to the IP rating, these aren't designed to be submerged, but most of the times these will be okay on site. It's relatively dust protected and as well as moisture protected. It can handle most showers quite well.
Exactly. I mean, if you've got that up the top of a quite high tripod and rain starts, we can't expect you to go running up there straight away. My lights, I've got to unplug that quick. So yeah, they will take a little bit of moisture, a little bit of splashing there.
That's right, and they are quite robust. You can see that the actual design itself, it's got these protective, I mean, they look like they're just carry handles, but these are all
the exposed corners are covered, aren't they? You've got a pretty tough lens on that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so this is, again, running on the 18-volt platform, so you get a lot more run time. So you're getting, was it 130 minutes per amp hour on the 1200. So 1200 lumens and 130 minutes per amp hour runtime. So plenty of runtime throughout the day.
Yeah.
And one thing before we move on that I forgot to mention is this is actually a connected tool, because it is a GLI 1200C, and I forgot to mention that. Yeah. It's a connected tool, and that'll make sense when I start talking about the app and some of the other connected products. So what's up next, Danny?
Right, so next we've got, just over on the side of Chris here, we've got the GLI 18V-1900. So that's a 1900 lumen machine. Fully aluminium outer housing there, so really tough. We've got the button on the handle just at the top there, as modelled by Chris. You can press that 2 or 3 times and hold it down, and you've got the 2 different dim and full brightness on there as well. So a couple of power saving settings there.
Battery doesn't have a housing, which is different to, say, the 1200 that we've got there, which means you've got absolute flexibility how big you want to go up to, because there are limitations to how big a battery you can put on some of these lights, but not for this model.
Not for that one. No, you can put anything up to, we've up to the massive 12 amp hour ones that we did. So.
Did you mention?
Yep, 3/8 inch lower thread there for the tripod. It's really nice to have this mount because of the angled movement of the head. You can have this mounted up quite high, pointing down. So good advantage. Lots of rotation degrees there to get the light exactly where you need it.
Yeah, you don't actually need to use a tripod if you don't want to, because you can see here you have a little kick leg that comes out, which means you can plonk this on the floor, and because you've got up to 120 degrees, then you can angle that up in whatever direction you want, especially if you just want to shoot that up at the ceiling to bounce light down, or if you need to point it directly at what you want, you've got all the options here. Yeah,
I mean, pointing it directly is a good thing, but sometimes bouncing them, taking care to bounce the light into a place where you need it will avoid you from making eye contact with the light when you're actually trying to work.
So the 1900 lumens is actually produced by a single LED. So all the previous products that we're looking at have been multi-array LEDs. Now this is just a single one, isn't it?
It's a single Cree LED, yeah.
Yeah, exactly so. Produces a lot of light and is very efficient. When it comes to the runtime, we're looking at, again, remember you've upped the lumens from, say, the 12 or the 300. Yeah. So you're up to the 1900. So you are getting a bit of a hit when it comes to the runtime, but it's still very, very competitive at 100 minutes per amp hour. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's look at a similar machine. So this one, 2200?
Yep, this one's a slightly different model, as you can see from the design here. The actual lens shape is slightly different. We've got a little bit more ruggedized design on the front here, so these buffers here prevent any damage to the front of the machine should it drop onto something. And on the back here, you'll see we've got an enclosure for the battery. What this does is this ups the IP rating we actually spoke about on our last live stream. So the IP rating on this particular model is 64. So that's giving you an IP rating of 6 when it comes to dust ingress and 4 when it comes to water ingress. So again, for mild splashing, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, 6, completely dust proof, so you're not having to worry about getting any dust in between the LED and the lens. So yeah, perfect for sight.
Has the same bracket set up as the 1900 that we just looked at. So plenty of movement on there, and the same switch mechanism here. So one touch on, and then you hold it down for a dim setting. So you can almost double your battery length with that. So the last thing to make note of is this is a connected model as well, same as the 1200 over there.
Yeah, so when we, again, like we mentioned with the 1200 and now the 2200, we'll talk about the kind of functionality you get by being able to connect these to the Toolbox app, because actually when it comes to lights, there is actually quite a lot of functionality that you guys might not know about that will really, really make your life a lot easier on site.
So we know this is 2200 lumen. What sort of runtime efficiency can we get out of that?
You're actually getting exactly the same amount of runtime that you would get on the 1900. So you're getting 100 minutes per amp hour. So we've obviously made some improvements internally to make this more efficient.
Whether it's LED or whether it's programming internally, that's quite impressive.
Exactly. So plenty of runtime. If you put some of the larger batteries in, again, it will take quite happily with the inside the housing. It'll easily be able to fit up to the 6 amp hour batteries, the normal core pack batteries. Plenty of runtime all day. If that's the kind of thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, let's have a look at some of the really big lights that we've got. The first one up we've got is the GLI 18V-4000C. You can see we've changed the design now.
Yeah.
So, and the main reason we changed the design is we have to house what is quite a large LED to power that unit.
It's not just the large LED that you have with housing. Look at the cooling fins on the back. So you can see this is generating quite a lot of heat, not only from the LED, I say bulb, but lens area,
Yep.
but from the electronics inside the machine as well. So yeah, quite an impressive little power cell there.
That's right. I mean, the whole tool has been redesigned, because you can see that they have the activation button on the side here. Instead, now we've got it on the back, just here.
You can see red button does something,
right.
as with all Bosch products.
I'm going to point it at me so we don't blind anyone.
Yeah.
And then it's a simple activation. You can see got your UI here. It shows you all the different LEDs showing how much battery charge, and then you've got your 3 different modes. You've got your 1000 lumen, 2000, and then the full power, the 4000 lumen mark. So we'll probably cut into a close-up. Tell you what, I can actually feel that. I can feel the heat on that already.
Yeah,
So
warm me up, yeah.
that is the reason why, as Danny says, you need to have this heatsink to dissipate the amount of heat that's been generated by this torch or this light. Just like the change in design in how we actually mount it as well. So you've got your 5/8 thread, which will fit on the larger tripod threads that we've got, like this one here. And then you also see that well protected, and then you're still, if you want to sit it on the ground, you've got the complete complete rotation of the tool there. So even if it's not mounted on a tripod, or if it is mounted on a tripod, you've got a lot of degrees at which you can shift the light around the room.
You're not going to be fighting for a handle to pick it up with either, because we've got although we've got one on either end that you can pick the machine up by, these two on the front here, although they look like handles and operate like handles, they're just there to prevent damage to the lens at the front. So.
That's right. Now, it's as we said, it's a much more powerful GLI. So remember, outputting 4000 lumens. Unfortunately, that kind of power has to have an impact on the runtime, but it's still respectable at 30 minutes per amp hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you're not going to get as much runtime out of as compared to the smaller ones, but you're going to light up a much bigger space. Yeah, and when we're talking about power and lighting up, I mean, that one over there, the one that was originally light in the beginning of the live stream, that's our final GLI, right, Dan?
Yeah, this is the GLI 18V-10,000. So we've taken a massive step here from a 4000 lumen all the way up to a 10,000 lumen. I've seen these used industrially, and they are shockingly bright.
That's what you would expect.
I think we're on the lowest setting here when the one that we're filming with, but it's yeah, you wouldn't want to be staring into that.
No, not at all.
Yeah, with any of these, to be fair.
So just like the GLI 4000C, the 10,000C also has a 3-stage switch. So you can press it once and get 1000 lumens, switch it again to the second setting, which is 5000 lumens, and then you can press it one more time and get the maximum 10,000 lumens out of the device. But as we stated, it does draw a lot of energy at maximum of 10,000 lumens, so you might want to tweak that depending on your conditions so you get as much runtime out of the device as possible. Yeah, essentially what we've done here is we've upscaled the 4000C model, so it's essentially just a bigger device. It's got a bigger heatsink. Has it got a bigger? It has got a bigger lens, hasn't it? It's got a bigger LED as well.
Much bigger lens, much bigger LED, much bigger heatsink on the back here as well. Running the same 18-volt platform, obviously, that the lights are running here. Similar design with the protection handles at the front here, and a similar mounting for tripods. So 5/8" with everything from the 1900 upwards.
Essentially, everything's just been scaled up, so to speak, for this model. Again. More powerful, 10,000 lumens, has an effect on runtime, but still quite a respectable 12.5 minutes per amp hour. So this is one of the reasons why it's an open back design, because this is the kind of tool you might be wanting to put a 12 amp hour Pro Core battery onto.
Quite
because
easily,
you probably need that amount of runtime. I mean, as you can see, we've been doing the live stream just running on that battery there. Perfectly fine.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so when I wanted to talk about connectivity, it's a good segue. And hopefully the guys are all answering your questions in the chat as we go through it. One thing I wanted to show off was obviously the app. I've already set a group for all the connected tools. So the 1200, the 2200, the 4000 and the 10,000 are all selected in one group. That means press of one button, I can blind Rob behind the camera there. I can blind myself as well. plenty of light all at your fingertips. There are some advantages with the app as well, which means, as I said, you can group different types of lights, and you can also program them in your smartphone so they can both switch off together as a group at certain times, or more importantly, or more sophisticatedly, you can set them on a schedule. So you're going to be in at 6 in the morning and you're going to be going at 4 o'clock or whatever. You can have them automatically switch on and switch off however you group them together. So that flexibility is, you know, one of the main reasons why a connected light makes a lot of sense.
That's it. I mean, for me, it would be not having to bring all the tripods down with the lamps on them to switch them off at the end of the day. I mean, it's just a no-brainer really, isn't it?
Okay, so let's do a quick summary of the lights that we've got here. So the first ones we start off with are the 12 volts. So we have the GLI 12Vs. This is the 300 and the 330 lumens. Then we went up to the 18 volts. We have the GLI 18V-300, the 1200, the 1900, the 2200,
4,000 and the 10,000.
Exactly. So when it came to the runtime, we talked about you'd have minutes per amp hour. But let's have a look at some examples. I mean, let's say for these models, you're looking at roughly 13 or 10 hours on a 6 amp hour 18 volt battery. And when you move up to the bigger machines, we always recommend that you probably want to go for a bigger battery. You don't have to worry about the capacity, the actual enclosure, because they're open backed here, so you can go for much bigger batteries. So you're looking at maybe about 4 hours on the 4000C on an 8 amp hour Pro Core, or I think was it 1.5 hours?
About 1.5 hours on this. Well, you can see where it makes total sense to go up to the 12 amp hour battery there.
That's right, yeah. So exactly, if you went up to a 12 amp hour battery, I think you get about 2.5 hours on the biggest machine. So, and again, it's a very powerful light. Reason why we need all the heat sinking and stuff like that.
That's on the brightest setting as well, which I think most people will find that brightest setting probably a bit overkill for your average job site. So for, I would say, underground work especially, then full power may well be. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to set the machine up to your particular job application.
All right. So that's our range of GLIs. Back to the studio. So as you can see, a really good and comprehensive range of both 12 volt and 18 volt lights.
What I love about these is the fact with the connectivity feature on there as well, gives you the ability to customize the brightness and the power supply that you're putting on the machine to get the most out of your product.
Yeah, and to be honest, when it comes to connected products, I think we could probably do a live stream just on connectivity and connected products as a whole.
Yeah.
Because we've done them separately when it comes to the hammers, the combis, most recently when we were looking at some of the measuring tools like the line lasers and combi lasers, and now we've got our GLI connected. I think we could do a live stream just talking about all these different functionalities, because sometimes you forget how good and how much time saving you can do with these connected functions.
Interesting, the majority of these can be done through the Toolbox app, but there are other applications that are out there for different products that we do, so to cover them off as well would be fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. So hopefully the guys behind the desk answered all your questions throughout the live stream. Where should we go from here?
Right, our next live stream, I believe, is the 4th of January, and we're looking to look at the new tools for the beginning of next year, so the first 3 months of 2023. So we've got a little wall next door. We're eager to show you what's on there.
That's cool. So don't forget, like and subscribe. Obviously, we're here on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're also on Instagram. So from Danny and I think it's have a happy Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year.
Happy Christmas from me too.